Give me a sense of the underwater part of the iceberg of behavior change. Like what's going on below the surface? Why does that make behavior change so hard?
Okay. So there's actually a bunch of different behavior change theories that have been, written about and studied. And then one person, Susan Mickey, out of the UK, she sort of amalgamated all those theories and simplified it, sort of thing. And she simplified it into like three key elements that sort of happen underneath the surface.
Okay.
And she called it capability. So like, do you have the physical capability? Do you have the psychological capability, like the confidence to do certain things? Opportunity, do you have the physical or social opportunity? So like, do you have access to a gym or to running shoes? Do you have people who will like build you up during tough times? And then the last piece is motivation, and that's sort of the habit part. This is like the reflective versus the automatic motivation. So those three things, the capability, opportunity, motivation, if you can sort of optimize those or some of those, or even identify weak spots with those three things, then you'll be well on your way to sort of stimulating a new behavior and potentially changing it longer term.
I like that. That's super helpful in framing like what can I actually do, right? Like how can I actually implement a change into my life when change is so hard?
Yeah.
What do you think makes changing hard? Like what is it? Everyone says it, change is hard. Like what? I have a bit of a theory around that, but I want to hear
your theory.
My theory. Here's my theory. My theory is that when we encounter change in our environment, whether it's anything changes in our environment, your eyes pick it up, your ears pick it up. That goes into your amygdala processes it, then fires information down through your sympathetic nervous system to get you ready for action. So it turns into stress. Then we have all of these stress responses, and the stress responses to adapt to change actually cost energy.
Yeah.
And I think it's the lack of energy or the lack of deciding where the energy goes that makes change so incredibly hard, especially in an era when people are so tired, so exhausted, so burned out.
Yeah.
Like we just don't have any bandwidth for this right now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's the physiologist guessing, and that's asking the behavior change expert what's going on.
Well, it's like every person or like sort of population will require, I think, a slightly different approach. But that's an approach that I dug into quite a bit in my PhD. I was focusing on rewarding people to do healthy things.
Yeah.
And that sort of gets at this sort of automatic motivation is really hard to overcome. So there's a theory called behavioral economics that talks about how like just changing little things in our choice architecture. Have you heard that term before?
I have not.
It's like this like decision making happens in sort of a choice environment, right? So whether we like it or not, we're making decisions in the choice environment that we exist in.
Yeah.
So whether our employers or our spouses or us ourselves can like change that environment just in like really, really minor ways, it can actually make a big difference.
Really?
So the classic experiment was like putting bananas next to the cash register at the cafeteria, right? If you put the bananas right next to the cash register, people will buy more bananas,
Right.
Or if you put the chocolate milk like way at the bottom, in the fridge, people will buy less chocolate milk. So behavioral economics is really cool because it emphasizes how like subtle changes in the choice environment can make a really big impact, especially in the short term when you're looking to change a behavior, for the first time or for the first time in a long time.
Okay, I got to tell you a funny story about that.
Yeah.
Because we're, just hanging out. My wife's really good at baking, like really good. We've been together for 20 years. And when we were first hanging out, she would bake a lot at my house, and I was into cycling and stuff like that. So if you throw a carb anywhere near me, I would eat all.
Gonzo.
It's done, right? Like you can't finish a 100K bike ride and not eat all the cookies.
Yeah.
So that wasn't working out for me from a health perspective. So one day I was like, no, we have to get rid of all of this baking stuff. So I actually took all of the baking gear and
the equipment and the
equipment. It's all gone. It was all gone. And she came home, and that was not one of our highlights of our relationship moving forwards. But I guess I was like instinctively just trying to control my environment to make it less likely that when I finished a bike ride, there would be a massive plate of cookies. So maybe I was onto the right thing 20 years ago. The baking equipment is still in my house, by the way, just for the record. But anyway. Yeah.
Totally. And that reminds me of my conversation with my dental hygienist yesterday. This might be TMI, but like I have trouble flossing, as much as I should. So she suggested like, well, so you're tired at the end of the day, like most people are when most people brush their teeth and floss. So like, why not do it at another time of day, or why not do it like at work, or like you can just take that floss and put it somewhere else and maybe increase your chances that you'll do it. So that's just like a recent example for me, because we're always trying to like tweak little things here and there. So I started flossing like while I'm putting my kids to bed at 6:30 or 7 p.m. when I'm not exhausted, as opposed to 10:30 after I've made all the lunches and emptied the dishwasher and I'm just like totally zonked,
So behavioral economics suggests that when we control our environment and make it easy to adopt the behaviors and habits that we're looking for, that gives us a better chance of actually making those behavior changes. If 100%. I can just sort of sum this up.
Yep. And it's the make it easier theory, actually. So I'm glad you used that word.
Yeah.
And it's great to stimulate behaviors. It's the theory doesn't help so much with like the sustaining of the behavior. That's sort of like a different thing a little bit. But the hardest part for a lot of people is just kind of getting going, and so like gaining that early momentum. So 100%. And it gives you a lot of practical techniques like behavioral economics, or it's often called nudge theory. The authors won a couple of Nobel Prizes for that work.
Wow, cool.
There's a bunch of different practical techniques or solutions that can come out of that. And in addition to the choice architecture, they also talk about these things called decision biases.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So for example, let's take like the lottery bias. So people think they have a better chance of winning the lottery than they actually do. Or present bias. People overweigh the costs and benefits of things that happen to them like now versus the costs and benefits of things that happen to them in the future. So like I'd rather watch like a Netflix movie now to help me reduce my stress levels and chill out than reduce my risk of cancer by 32% in 25 years. You know what I mean? So they've identified a bunch of these different decision biases. Fresh start is another one. Like people are more likely to do a new behavior New Year's Day or Mondays or the first day of the month. So it's a really interesting theory that really motivated my PhD research into the whole like rewarding people to engage in healthy behaviors. Anyway.
No, I love it. And I love the idea of the nudge theory and that being so powerful that it actually led to some Nobel Prize winning research. That's how powerful this is. That's how important it is and how difficult it is to figure out.
Yeah. And it sort of grew out of economics, which is very traditional and assumed people always behaved in rational ways. Like if you'll make more money doing this, then people will do this. But that isn't actually how things happen in real life.
Wow.
So they sort of apply these insights from psychology in an economics context, which initially, I guess, was really controversial.
Yeah.
And then they ended up winning the Nobel Prize, working for Obama, working for the Prime Minister in the UK. There's these behavioral economics units in governments all over the world trying to like make little adjustments to forms and policies to try to like stimulate like massive population level change with just like little tweaks here and there.
I love it.